The Tenjin Festival is one of the top 3 largest festivals in Japan. It's a good time. There are dancers, mikoshi, boats, and fireworks. But despite all the fun everyone is having and the traditional entertainment to be seen here and there is a very dark guest lurking amongst the fun. If he's not having fun, bad things will happen. That dark guest riding in that mikoshi is Tenjin-san. I was too terrified to take video of that boat because there were shrine priests chanting incantations to keep that guest happy. It's that terrifying. Legend has it that he terrorized the Heian Capital for 40 years, was the reason why the Tenmangu shrines were established, and why we have a Tenjin Festival today. Who is Tenjin-san and what did he do? Well, believe it or not, he was a real person who was cancelled by the royal court, turned vengeful demon, and went out to get his revenge. It's a very interesting story, so in this episode, let's talk about how all this came about. The cancellation of Sugawara-no-Michizane. Who was Sugawara-no-Michizane? He was born August 1st, 845, to a family of well-known scholars. He becomes a scholar himself after going to school and passing all of his exams. He starts his service within the royal court. However, he gets mixed up with a couple of conspiracies that ultimately lead to his cancellation. We're going to get into some of those conspiracies. The first one happens when Emperor Uda attempts to ascend the throne in 887. What happens in the Akko incident? No, not the 47 Ronin, a completely different Akko. The Akko incident in 887 was really just a misunderstanding in communication. So, what happened? Emperor Uda is the next in line to the throne, and he needs to give out government positions. Fujiwara-no-Mototsune has been working in the government for a long time, even acting as regent or sessho, for 2 underage emperors, Emperor Seiwa and Emperor Yosei, both being coronated at the age of 7. Now, under Emperor Uda, Mototsune was expecting a very high position. He gets the order from Emperor Uda to become sessho and kampaku. Now, kampaku was a position at the top of the government that was okay, but the sessho was a position of regent for underaged emperors. And so... Wait, you're an adult, are you not? I can't accept this position. And so Emperor Uda rescinds the words sessho and kampaku and gives the order that he become Akko instead. Where did the Akko come from? Well, it's really complicated to explain, and most Japanese textbooks don't go into it either. It's called the Akko incident, but it's never explained what the Akko is. Basically, the name Akko was bestowed on a Chinese official named Yi from 2,000 years before. Who knows why Emperor Uda throws this out there? Nobody could figure this out. And so Mototsune gets really angry. Wait, what happened to Kampaku? I can't accept Akko. He decides to leave the government altogether. Well, without Mototsune, the government couldn't move forward. This stalemate continues on for a year as Mototsune continually declines Emperor Uda's orders. After a year of this, who comes swooping in like Superman but Sugawara-no-Michizane? He hands in a letter to Mototsune. If you continue this stalemate, are you wanting to work for the government, or are you really trying to become emperor yourself? Mototsune writes to Emperor Uda. All I wanted was to become Paku. Emperor Uda, now getting it, gives out the new order. Mototsune is to become Kampaku. Phew! But wait, Fujiwara no Mototsune gives up the ghost just 3 years later. All of that just for him to peace out. The government is then led by Emperor Uda, who successfully does this for 7 years. The first emperor to be head of a government after Emperor Saga. Michizane was not very popular despite being able to rise through the ranks at court. In 894, he is appointed to be ambassador to an envoy to Tang Dynasty China, along with Kino Haseo, this guy becoming vice ambassador. However, China was just a big mess at this time, and sending an envoy meant certain unaliveness for the travelers, and so Michizane moved to have the envoys abolished. Emperor Uda thought about this and decided that the safety in China would be looked into, and the envoys were postponed. Sugawara-no-Michizane and Kino Haseo would retain their positions as ambassador and vice ambassador, but they never actually go to China. Dodged a bullet there, but Michizane's luck would soon run out. In 897, Emperor Uda decides to give someone else a go at running the government, and so he abdicates, and his son, Emperor Daigo, ascends the throne. He starts to give out his government appointments, but this order puzzles a lot of people. Fujiwara no Tokihira becomes minister of the left. That's okay, but Sugawara-no-Michizane becomes minister of the right. Like, what? A lot of people were against the move, saying, "How does a scholar become a minister?" It is here that an extremely bad conspiracy happens that cancels Michizane for good. The Shoutai incident happens in 901. Now, the emperor formerly known as Uda was still in control of his son despite having retired. Michizane, who enjoyed promotion after promotion under former Emperor Uda, was finding that maybe he wasn't so secure. And then, the axe came down. While former Emperor Uda was out of the capital on holiday, in front of Emperor Daigo, Fujiwara no Tokihira, minister of the left and Michizane's co-worker, comes forward. "Your Majesty, there is a rumor that the next in line to the throne should be Crown Prince Tokyo." "What? But that's not right. I already have a crown prince." "Who would spread such a rumor?" "Your Majesty, Crown Prince Tokyo is the grandson of the Minister of the Right. It is believed Sugawara-no-Michizane is trying to take over the succession." "Minister of the Right, is this true? This is treason!" Meanwhile, the emperor formerly known as Uda hears about the conspiracy going down and rushes back to the capital. But he's stopped at the gates. Standing in his way was an army led by Fujiwara no Sugane. "Let me in." "Nope." "What do you mean?" "I order you to let me in." "Nope again. I take my orders from the emperor." "You idiot, I'm above the emperor. You let me in." "Nope a third time. Don't make me say it again." Remember this guy Sugane. He's gonna come back later. Former Emperor Uda was left outside the gates, with Michizane facing his sentence inside. "Minister of the Right Sugawara-no-Michizane, I charge you guilty of conspiracy against the court. You will be exiled to Dazaifu." Exiled to Dazaifu, a remote government post in Kyushu. Michizane packs up and starts on his way. He still has hope that he will be saved by former Emperor Uda, stopping at several locations on his way to Osaka, waiting for a messenger to come. A messenger never comes, and Michizane leaves Osaka utterly devastated and makes the long journey to Dazaifu. During his time at Dazaifu, he gently cradles a kimono in his arms, a kimono that was given to him just a year before in thanks for his service to the court, and quietly sobbing about where he had ended up. After only being there for 3 years, whether he was quietly taken care of or just ghosted naturally, he did so in 903. He was put on an ox cart to be taken to be buried. However, after a short distance, the ox that was pulling the funeral cart decided to sit down and wouldn't move anymore. It is here at the place where the ox stopped that became the gravesite of Sugawara-no-Michizane. This would not be the end of Sugawara-no-Michizane. Because of all of the sadness and despair he felt at Dazaifu, Michizane would turn into a vengeful demon. He set his sights on the Heian Capital that had done him wrong. There is an absolutely beautiful picture scroll that depicts the story of Michizane the demon. Kitano Tenmangu in Kyoto holds the copyright on it, but I did find some scenes in the public domain that I'm able to share with you. So, what does Michizane the Onryo do to get his revenge? Warning for serious demon activity. Let's start the underworld counter. 908. The first to feel Michizane's wrath is Fujiwara-no-Sugane, the man who barred former Emperor Uda from entering the capital. 909. The minister of the left, Fujiwara-no-Tokihira, who pointed the finger at Michizane for the conspiracy, falls ill and is found with tiny dragons slithering out of his ears. Michizane is often depicted in onmyoji stories, dragging this guy Tokihira by his collar wherever he goes. But also in 909, Minamoto no Hikaru, the next minister of the right after Michizane was exiled, and supported Tokihira in the finger-pointing. 923. Crown Prince Yasuakira, the nephew of Tokihira and also married to his daughter. 925. Prince Yoshiori, Tokihira's grandson and Yasuakira's son. Man, I hope that bell is okay. But wait, in 930 is Demon Michizane's main event. At the Heian Palace, during a meeting at the Seiryo-den between Emperor Daigo and his ministers, the sky outside suddenly gets dark. Thinking that it's going to rain, the ministers go to close the lattices when GASHA! A single lightning bolt hits inside the building. The Dainagon Fujiwara no Kyotsura is set on fire. He runs around screaming, "Hot! Hot! Hot!" The Uchubin Taira no Mareo gets a nice barbecue treatment to his face. Emperor Daigo does survive this, but he's so horrified by what he's seen that he collapses in shock. The picture in the scroll for this event alone is extremely dramatic. It shows Demon Michizane turned Daijin, dealing out the fiery bolt. That should do it, right? Nope. In 936, son of Fujiwara no Tokihira, Yasutada. He was trying to pray to the 12 Buddhist deities for his health since he had fallen ill. However, instead of praising the deity, he misspoke and said choke the official. He gets choked on the spot. Is it over yet? Nah, just one more. After this, Yasutada's younger brother. When will this end? So it's been 10 temple bells in 30 years. This all has to be a coincidence, right? Well, can you believe it? Michizane himself makes an appearance. In the Yoshino Mountains in Nara, there is a temple called Kipusenji that houses a very terrifying deity. That deity is not important for now, but living at that temple was a monk called Douken. He actually meets with Demon Michizane. A lot of people have passed, you know. Yeah, I sent them all to hell. Gah! You really ought not to do that. Douken reports the meeting to the capital. Sugawara-no-Michizane has turned into a demon, yo. Oh, what? In order to pacify the onryo of Michizane, the Heian court decides to reinstate Michizane posthumously, and they build Kitano Tenmangu to enshrine him. He becomes Tenjin, the deity of scholarship. However, he was still unstable, so his spirit was pacified by Buddhist incantations while enshrined, since Shinto and Buddhism could exist together in one place. During festivals, the mikoshi holding the spirit of Tenjin had to be accompanied by a Buddhist deity, so that Tenjin would not become a demon again. The two mikoshi were placed together on a boat and paraded on the river. This continued until the Meiji period. It's always Meiji. The Meiji period government ordered the separation of temples and shrines, also putting a stop to the Shinto and Buddhist mikoshi processions during Tenjin celebrations. To this day, the spirit of Tenjin-san has remained unchecked. At the Tenjin Festival today, you will see two very scary mikoshi, one holding the spirit of Tenjin-san, surrounded by Shinto priests doing their best to keep Tenjin-san pacified. The other mikoshi is empty, where the spirit of the Buddhist deity should be. That's why the Tenjin Festival, among all the fun and celebration, is actually the most terrifying thing you will see in Japan. Oh hey! If you're not already, please subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss future episodes of Japanese history, culture, and kodan. Also, please like this video too. It takes a smidgen of a millisecond to do so. Not much time at all. Also, if you enjoy episodes of Japanese history, culture, and kodan, please buy me coffee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get back to the conclusion. In the present day, Tenjin-san is considered a benign spirit that is celebrated in the name of scholarship. Many students will go to the one of many Tenmangu shrines scattered all over Japan in order to pray for passing their school exams. I often go there myself when I'm faced with a very big research project and I need guidance. And the ox that pulled the funeral cart is often depicted outside or around Tenmangu shrines. It is said that if you pet the ox and tell it your wish, that it will go to Tenjin-san and put in a good word for you. The Tenjin Festival is on the 24th and 25th of every year. It is a very good time and there are many things to see and do, but be mindful that Tenjin-san is out and about during this time. If you are respectful, good scholarship will be bestowed onto you. But that's all I have for today. See you next time.
極度難春でございました。